Oh, I already, yeah. Okay, that's perfect. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of VPR Thursday with your girl, Kiana the Goddess, and the one and only DJ FMI. You looking all glowy over there, partner. I love it.
It's just a different lighting, and I've been living my life different, and just vibrating at a higher frequency. I've been trying my
Yes,
best to do that.
that's the
Speaking about that, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb now,
yeah,
because we don't want to have too many people texting me. What is
yes.
going on, VPR? You are live here Thursday with the one and only Kiana the Goddess and DJ FMI. I feel like I never tell you guys what DJ FMI really stands for, because you guys do ask me when I'm out DJing in the clubs.
Yeah.
And for the people that mess up my name online,
Mm-hmm.
all right, this for you. We're gonna do it correct. And shout out to our viewers right now joining. Thank you. We have our first viewer and everybody on the line. Top of the morning, Meta Copyright. DJ, FMI stands for DJ Finally Made It. I get asked it all the time.
Yeah.
So every so sudden, I'm gonna come on here and just remind you guys. Just remind you guys.
So let me ask you a question, FMI. How did you come up with that name?
So initially, when I first started DJing, I started with the name DJ Fast Life, but then, I was at 22 at that time. I started DJing way before that, but around 22 or 20, I wanted to change my name.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to Finally Made It, I felt at that point in my life, I was really getting in tune with Convict. I was really focusing on my own business and creating my own business, because I've been watching how to be a part of certain organizations for years. So at that point, I felt like I finally made it, because I had an understanding of how I was going to move on in my career, how I was going to structure my business going forward after working with Convict. So all those things are in my mind, and boom. So that's what that's.
And that's like when we met, around the time we met. So that's
yeah. So we was definitely running around doing what we had to do here. Guys, thank you for tuning in every Thursday. I'm looking in the corner right now. I'm just going to write in the chat to say hello. Kiana.
Yep. We sending love to everybody. And Meta, we can't wait to have Red Vegas back on the show.
Yeah, he doing his thing too, running around. Every time I go on Instagram, I see a new post. And when I see a new post, I know people are doing their job.
Yeah, we're going to have him back in a few weeks.
Guys, for the people that are based in New York City, March 2nd, we do have an event. That's this weekend. But March 8th, we have our big stage with Deb Jim. Shout out to the YNVS crew. We have Young Devin, of course, me, Hot 97, DJ Drewski, iHeartRadio.
Where's that going to be, FMI?
Much more. This is going to be based in Queens. I don't remember the name of the club at the top of my head right now, but VPR is going to be in Queens, March 8th.
Because for y'all that are not from New York City, like a lot of people that are not from New York City, they're just like, oh, New York is like this small. It is, right? It's a community, but it's huge. There's 7 million plus people that live here. And when I tell you that there's areas of New York in the Bronx, in Queens, and
there's areas in New York and Jersey.
Right. Literally.
Make it make sense.
Literally, when I used to travel, where I used to live in Queens, it would take me longer to get there. Like I could have driven to Delaware. You know what I'm saying? Like, so is going to Coney Island. If you're going from Bronx to Coney Island,
Bronx to anywhere. No, relax. VPR.
2.5 hours easy, even if you're going in traffic. You know what I'm saying?
You have to sit in a nice little hour and 20 minutes of traffic, light your L, roll up legally, of course. Do what you gotta do.
Aren't you glad you don't have to do that anymore, partner? I was just thinking, I go through my daily gratitude, right? And I try to switch
everybody.
So I wanted to give gratitude to the fact that we transitioned to a virtual platform, not thankful for COVID, right? But thankful for the pivot that we took, because it's expanded us so much. And I think about how you used to have to pay for parking, how you used to be stuck in traffic, gas, looking for parking for hours. You know what I'm saying? So that's beautiful. Now you could just jump on right from your hotel room, right, wherever you may be, and we can get our guests from all around the world, all around the United States, and it's definitely a blessing.
Kiana, speaking about blessing, we have come across a lot of dope acts throughout our years of doing this. One that stuck out to me was Kaya Baby. Like, I see her running around doing so much event, especially at all the shows that I'm at. She's at. Dope. And it's beautiful to see some of the acts that when I first started my journey with DJing in my early teens, I'm seeing some of the people that were artists actually on Hot 97 now. They're coming to my events and we're giving them main stage. Shout out to Chrissy Bands, Shout out to Poison, of course, Rich P. The list goes on. Kaya Baby. There's so many dope acts, and it's good to see in hip hop.
SNS, right? Like
SNS. He's been on a tear.
Oh,
he has been on a tear.
Yeah.
I haven't seen my man Jack Doe in a minute. You know what I mean? I know you used to manage him back then, but I haven't seen Jack Doe in a minute. Hopefully,
I know he's been quiet. You know, he
crazy
about booking one of his clients, and then I didn't hear back from him. So it's funny we talked about it because I just texted him this morning, and I was like, "Hey, whatever happened to that client you wanted to book?" Since we're booking out the rest of spring. So yeah, Jack Doe, if you're out there, okay, if you're out there, hit us up so we can book him because we're booking up fast.
And for other people that are interested in battle rapping and hip hop, please make sure y'all check out Showtime.
Oh yeah,
TV. That's my brother for years now, and he's doing great things in the URL battle rap scene. He has his own league, and he has some big acts up there. I know he's been running around with Murder Mook and a bunch of them. So definitely tag him with Showtime.
Yeah, that's it.
Kiana, I turned on my news on my YouTubes today.
Okay,
and yesterday. And have you paid attention to all the more news of Diddy doing Diddy things?
I've known about Diddy things before the Diddy things came to surface, right? So for me personally, honestly, having worked in this industry so many years now, right? And I know so many people. I've never experienced anything firsthand, but I've heard a lot of stories that were parallel from people that don't know one another, from people that were at. And then, like I said, I've had my own experiences, like with one mansion party that I went to and got up out of there. I was like, this is a penthouse. I was like,
the gates are open.
Wild.
Nah, definitely the gates are open. All of our older acts, especially in the entertainment industry, are having to pay for some of the sins or some of the things that they enjoyed when it came to taking advantage of others. What blew me away, VPR, because I like to sit there and talk with y'all. Y'all be right here. What blew me away is the man that was alleging that Diddy did all of this. He's a new person that came out. He's asking for $30 million in damages. Hey guys, hey Aloria, how you doing? The one that's asking for the damages, he was saying he was participating in these freak offs, and he was recording some of them. And I know he was waiting for this day to release the footage or whatnot. But for me, I'm like, how could you be a victim if you were participating in said acts? You know,
right.
And then VPR, it's like I'm not victim shaming here, but when it came to the Cassie situation, at least when they brought it up, Cassie was dating this man, the man that's alleging that Diddy took all these advantages of him. He's saying that he was working with him for 6 months, working on the Love album. He promised him a Grammy. He was letting Cuba Gooding Jr. rub on his down behind his crack of his back on his yacht.
How do you promise somebody a Grammy, though?
How do you promise another man rubbing his hand down the crack of your back?
Look,
Cuba Gooding Jr. Cuban, like what you like, love what you love.
That's your right. Love who you love. That's your business. Happy Thursday, Lori. Thank you. Shout out to Diamond.
And Meta said something great, Kiana. Thank you, Meta, for adding to the conversation.
Never said anything about it, right?
Meta said you never said anything when it went down.
Yeah. And that's my problem right there. And again, not to victim shame, right? Because traumas are, sometimes people suppress traumas. Sometimes people feel shame, right? Especially in situations of like sexual abuse, the victim feels shame.
Yeah, I can understand that.
But it looks suspect when it turns around and now it's just about like a lawsuit. You know what I'm saying?
And
$30 million.
The thing is too, when I read his what his lawyer put out, he was trying to paint himself as a victim, but then also while going down there, he was releasing all the secrets to the things that Diddy has done, the murders that he's caught, who he's giving the bodies to, which team members does all of this. And he was naming detail by name. He does this for Diddy. He moved the guns. Diddy shot the gun in the club, allegedly, not Shine.
Right.
And then the victim came out. The same woman said, no, Diddy was the one that shot me.
Right.
So all of these things now, just like you said, Meta, the gates are open. People are questioning all of these acts from him.
And this is what happens whenever we see a scandal, right? Like one person comes forth, 50 people come first. I can think back, and I was a really little girl when this happened, but Anita Hill and what was it, Clarence Thomas, Supreme Court judge, And I might be even mixing up the names, but it was a mess. And then it was one woman, and then it was 10 women, right? President Clinton, it was one woman, then it was 10 women, right? Bill Cosby, like
the shakedown.
So the shakedown. Everybody's going to tell their truth. It doesn't mean that everybody's telling the truth. It doesn't mean that everybody has actually had that experience, right? But when you participate in acts like this, you open yourself up, because now anybody that has even been close to Diddy can come through and make some sort of claim, and who can say it's valid or not?
Yeah, like, a lot of people are scouring the internet right now and just looking at all the past videos of Diddy, A Velvet. I'm looking at all the past videos of him and they're saying, look at the behavior. They're pointing out certain behaviors.
Yeah.
And,
but why weren't you looking
at point about now?
Right. Why weren't you looking at the behaviors then? Right. Like, why weren't they?
It was cool when y'all participating. It's cool when they do it. It's bad when I do it.
Meta said he thinks this was in Kim's book. I didn't read.
I think, well, from one of the documentaries I've seen, I think they said that Diddy was not trying to have that come out allegedly. So, I mean, I can understand why you want to keep your demons in your closet.
Here anymore, right?
That's a sad situation there. So, these internet games run deep, VPR, and I just, try to keep your head above it. I don't.
These entertainment games run even deeper. So I'll just
I'm mad. What I dislike about it, and what I want to have a deeper conversation about, is how we allow certain people with these statures. Like, when it comes to rappers, look at it like this. When it comes to broker rappers, they're always trying to mess with a billionaire. So I understand why people want to put themselves around him.
Right.
But to just be at his whim, to do as he pleases, him to speak down to them, curse them out, run in rooms and do what he wants.
Well, at
what point is your cost? It makes me ask, like, can we all be bought? VPR, can you be bought?
That's what I'm saying. Right. And this is where it comes down to the whole, like, selling your soul, right? Whether you mean it in the sacrificial sense or in the physical sense, or whatever the case may be. When you start doing things that go against your morals, that go against your core values, that go against everything you believe in for fame, that was your personal choice, right? Because you wanted something at the end that you knew that you could get.
But do you think this is the cost of fame?
No.
And people are willing to pay for it, like, in that manner?
For some, absolutely. And it also, what kind of fame are you looking for? Right? Like, I'd rather be wealthy and 12 people know who I am than, 12 million followers and this, that, and the third, because you can't even live your life. But, like, what are you seeking? There's so much that you have to think about when you go on the road toward these careers, and consider the sacrifices that come, right? And consider what you will and won't do. And shout out to so many artists that are here, that are standing their ground, right? That are standing on business. Okay.
Standing on business.
Standing on business. They're standing on their business. They're standing on their business, and they're out here doing their thing. You can absolutely reach a broad audience. You can sell platinum. You can make lots of money. What fame are you looking for without having to sell your soul?
You don't have to lick an executive's private parts, you feel me? Or have him pay for someone to lick your private parts, you feel me? This man was alleging that Carisha, VPR, if you don't know who Carisha is, that is Young Miami from one of the City Girls.
Yeah.
She was dating Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
The man was using the bathroom in a stall in one of Diddy's places, in one of the offices, and he solicited Carisha's cousin to go and have sex with him in the bathroom. The woman runs him down, grabs his penis, tries to suck it. He runs out. He alleges.
Right.
And she was forcibly trying to fuck him in front of the group of people, and Diddy was laughing. So this is what they're trying to paint this man as. And,
it's giving Griselda vibes.
I bet if he had that Grammy, he would not be telling you none of this. Like, but it's cool.
Right. You see what I'm saying? But if he had that Grammy, right?
Yeah, man.
Would the story still be in the streets?
Before we move on, I know Meta Copyright said not just that. We have that in folks' family and in our culture as well.
Oh, very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roman culture, talk about it.
Roman culture, Meta. You see how you got me.
There's a lot of my.
It goes back, and certain behavior is frowned upon in now our society, but as far as Diddy, you have all the means of the world to get anything you want.
Yeah.
It just sucks that some of this information is true.
But I think that's also what happens, right? When first of all you're driven by your ego. Because when you have all the money in the world, you can't get anything physically tangibly in front of you that'll be different, or probably that'll excite you, right? So
That's
now
scary.
the power play on how can I emotionally break people down, right? Because I get my kicks off of that, because there's nothing I could buy that could create this experience for me. So let me see how me being
VPR.
wealthy and me being powerful, I can use that to create people to become my puppets.
VPR. It's scary that Kiana can even say this. I'm looking at Kiana. It's just like I seen her put on like her evil genius hat, and it's like a whole shift change of her. The Libra just left the room when I see her speaking like that.
That's the full Libra, though, right? Like that's the full Libra. We could go dark or we could go light. I just happen to live in the light.
Yeah. So I just pray that hopefully this is resolved and all parties get meet some kind of peace. Diddy is getting hammered on every day, and more things are coming out. So, one thing that took me back too, before we have a beautiful guest that's going to come on here and grace you guys. But another thing that caught me was Drake tweeting out or putting out a post saying "Free Tory," and
interesting.
I sat back, VPR. I'm neither for either side. But it's very interesting when one of the biggest artists in the world is saying that. So it sets a precedent, so you just look at it from afar and just like, And now I'm watching now how so many people are confidently and feeling empowered to say, yeah, fuck Mac. She ain't do that. He ain't do it. That horse did it. Now the friend, right before we get on VPR, has dropped an interview. She has not spoken since this incident years ago.
And that was with Meg?
Yeah, so I have not watched it. If my internet connection wasn't horrible here, I would have brought it up to you guys. VPR. We would have watched it here.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna save that for another clip on YouTube. So just make sure you say subscribe. But
definitely.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Drake says that now, and then an interview of the person that was in the car, VPR, comes out the same day after she has not spoken.
Yeah.
All these years.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Meta said something is going on there, and I'm going to agree. You guys remember Arsenio Hall, things that make you go, Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like I'm neither here or there. He's arrested. He has been charged with harming this woman in her foot. You got people like from before Nicki Minaj, even when the songs that she was dissing her, and I'm like, whether Meg is right or wrong, I can see that she has to battle a lot. That's what I can notice.
Yeah,
and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. Now, one of the biggest artists already are speaking down upon what you went through. So we'll see, VPR. We shall see.
I just wish our hip hop culture, my friends, my people, my hip hop, I wish it was so messy.
Yeah. Speaking about messy, what's what I don't understand, right? There's certain things that make you look guilty, VPR. I don't know. If someone accuses you of sleeping with a man, right? I'm gonna tell you why I'm saying this. And then the first thing you say is, I respect all my my people in the gay community. I love vagina. It's so wet. I even run red lights.
Oh, okay. A lot of information, but all right.
Changes up.
Take it any way you can get it.
you can have all that. VPR. But and Meek Mill said this. Meek Mill went on to say this. But since the court documents came out of the guy alleging the assault charges on Diddy, his name, Meek Mill, and another rapper's name was redacted and have been released upon the freak offs. Because Meek Mill was in a lot of parties with Diddy. So people are reaching out to Meek Mill and saying, hey, Diddy has been seen on camera touching you, calling you daddy in his pool on camera.
Oh my goodness.
What's going on there? And yeah. So Meek Mill is now attacking the media for calling them gay, and I get it. I try to understand it, but that's not the way to go about it. Attacking media,
yeah,
covering you, it's never going to do anything to favor you. It's just going to make things worse. honestly.
I mean, the power of the voice of people between social media and media is now such a thin line, right? Because journalists are more gossip blogger based, right? So it's all about the media. Where are you getting your media from?
Yeah, you're getting your news bubble.
What kind of information is being put out and released, and it's hard, and that's why I said the price of fame, right? It comes with all of that. Are you mentally, emotionally, spiritually ready for all of that?
Kiana, I am good. I like the private life that I live. Whether
Yeah,
it comes with it, I like walking in the street and not everyone knowing my name. That is a thing, to move with anonymity. But Kiana, let's bring up our guest, Jamie. We have Ms Chu.
Yes, and we've been looking forward to having her. I know she was ill last week. Jamie, your video is still off. If you could put your video on, then we can bring you up to the stage. But definitely been looking forward to her. It's so crazy because you've been sick. I've been sick, back and forth. When she had her book release, I was supposed to attend, and then I wound up getting sick. That's when I had sent an email to her team, like, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it, but we would love to extend an invite to have her on. Maybe her video is not working. Let me just bring her up to the stage. Hi, Ms Chu. Can you hear us?
Hi, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
I know. So we'll get into that during our interview. I'm so sorry that unfortunately I can't turn on my camera. I have a little medical issue where video takes my eyes on a wild ride that nobody needs to see.
Okay.
So I'm hoping we can get through it with my video being off. I tried to find a decent picture if that's okay.
Not a problem. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm having a really, really good day. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to speak with you. And thanks for your patience and grace with all my illnesses and all my different issues. So thanks again.
Listen, we understand. Like you said, we've been through it as well. So we really just want to start from the beginning because you have so much going on, right? Between your business with hair and with beauty. I want to talk about the beginning of your career and how it has gotten you here. And then we definitely want to get into your book as well.
Okay, sure. So welcome everyone. Thank you for having me again. I'm Jamie Ralliford, also known as Ms Chu, the DJ. My journey started probably about 15 years ago now when I started DJing pretty much as a passion project. I wanted to learn how to play music. I've always been kind of the family DJ, the person that was the go-to for the soundtrack for whatever barbecue event, family reunion, whatever was going on. And from there, I took some classes and really began my passion for just finding a way to bring people together through something that is just I play all different genres. So from country to rock to R&B to hip hop, like in any given set, you'll hear all of that from me. And that was kind of like my passion in fueling, bringing people together and making people feel good about themselves. So because I am a performer, my boutique kind of spun from me having to find things to wear, different outfits, always having to be like stage ready, performance ready. But sorry, Macy's, Bloomingdale, Saks, they were just failing me and I didn't want to look like everybody else. So I started like sourcing vendors and kind of just working with stylists and working on a look. And that took off. What would happen is I would shop other people's boutiques and I would post something and they like, look, that top sold out. Can we do this again? And I'm like, this is actually a market. But it really was just me trying to find different ways of expressing myself. And with that, I was able to help women, specifically just feel better about themselves. So they'd come to me like, hey, I like that top you were wearing, but maybe I'm not a size 4, I'm a size 7 or 8. What works for me? So I started to develop like a boutique, but the boutique wasn't generally like everyone else's. So pretty much you'll find like key pieces with me, a hot blazer, a nice pair of leather pants, something where, you could take it from the top of the day where if you're a corporate executive and you need to go to an event in the evening, throw on a dope blazer and now you're off to the second part of your day. And from there, I kind of spun into hair. I've always had a love for just good quality everything. And what I was finding is that the hair market was taking off, but they were selling garbage. So I would like get a bundle of hair. I'm sorry, for those of you who aren't like necessarily in the hair weave, but I get a bundle of hair and 3 weeks later, I needed to take my hair out. So I started sourcing different vendors and came up with a manufacturer in India. And I started selling raw Indian hair, making wigs. And then what I found is that as my clientele, as we evolve, so do our health issues, so do, the things that we need. And a lot of the women were suffering from hair loss. So we're at that age, 40s, 50s, the hair is not as full as it used to be, but you still want to look good. So they would come to me and they would say, hey, I really like your hair. What should I do? So now it's like, hey, can you play me some good music, make me look good, and make sure that my hair is full and I look beautiful as well. So ultimately, my hair business spun into more on the medical end. So now I service a lot of clients who are suffering from hair loss, whether it be from health concerns where you had cancer, you've lost your hair, you're at an age where, maybe you had alopecia or, maybe it's hereditary. So a lot of cancer patients, alopecia, people who suffer from medical hair loss, and pretty much my primary business is selling really high quality wigs. So I play good music, I will make you look beautiful, and I will get your hair all good and ready. And in that, what I found is I just enjoy helping people. I like for you to look and feel your best. And that's where we are today. And that's how I kind of transitioned my DJ career and all of the other things that I was doing into kind of telling my story. We all do a good job at showing the world what we're doing today, but a lot of people want to know, well, how did you get here? Like, what are the steps you took? What were the trials, the tribulations, the hardships that you faced in getting to, the success that you may see today? So I sat down for a while, and funny enough, it's in between the pages of the book and me trying to like actually pull it together. It took me about 4 years. I mean, the book is short. It's short, it's to the point. But ultimately, about 4 years ago, I kind of started thinking through like which parts of my story are of interest and why. And during the pandemic, when we all had to kind of sit down and sit still with ourselves, for me, it was like a point of transition, like figuring out who's important, what to continue, what story to tell, and what things are not going to continue into this new season. And that's where I am today with Choose Happiness Unapologetically. The name is actually a spin-off of my DJ name, Ms Chu. And Choose Happiness Unapologetically is really about choosing you, figuring out what makes you tick and letting go of some things that just don't work. And that's okay. So I'll pause there because I know I've said a lot. So I want to give you all a chance to jump in if you have questions.
I love it.
It's true. I'm right here sitting down looking at my phone, and I had the Choose Happiness Unapologetically track 1, The Middle Child. I had it in front of me. And when I looked at the playlist, I seen that you had I Got It Made by Special Ed. I love that record. So did you make
it's one of my favorites?
Did you make this playlist just to give a vibe of the music that you listen to, or it's more to set the tone when people want to interact with you?
It's a bit of both. So some of the playlists for the different chapters, some of them are based on like different things that are going on in the chapter. This one in particular, I Got It Made, like The Miracle Child is just kind of my vibe. Like I was born in the late 70s. I grew up on new hip hop, like old school hip hop, Run DMC, Special Ed, Public Enemy. Like, so the first chapter in that first playlist is really about just me and the beginning. Like my first records were New Edition and Run DMC. So that's kind of how I developed the playlist for the different chapters. There's one chapter, Keep Going, and that one is really spiritual. It's, kind of getting you over the hump. Sometimes we need encouragement. We need to dig to the bottom because we're not feeling that great, but yet we still have to pull ourselves up and keep moving. So the music is really hopefully inspiring you to do whatever it is that you need to do. Whether that day you're feeling good, you're reminiscing, and you want to rap, or if you need a little spirituality, you need to get with God and Jesus, and you need some encouragement. That's kind of how I develop the different soundtracks for each of the chapters.
I love that. VPR. What a vibe, right?
That is a vibe.
Yeah, definitely a vibe.
I'm going through the whole playlist over here, like, what other song does she feel? I'm like, okay.
Right? As soon as you said I Got It Made, I heard the dinner.
Yeah, I was listening to it yesterday.
It's in my head now, right? Like, so nostalgic. I want to definitely, because you've got the boutique, you've got so many different areas of your life that are thriving. And, you know, I love fashion and beauty. I love the fact that you were compelled to work with women, especially that are medically challenged, because I think what's so unfortunate, especially in the hair industry, right, which is a multi-billion-dollar industry, that Black women put all of their money into, right, or Black, most people of color, right, women, men, you know, he, she, it, them.
I know Caucasian girls are weaves. I'm telling you.
Very
I
true.
was dumbfounded when they told me.
Right, but they are not the ones that are going and buying up the bulks of hair weave, right? And it's unfortunate because the ownership is not there, right? These are usually owned by Korean, Chinese. So I love when I can see a Black woman, a Black man come forward in the hair industry and realize there's a place for everybody. And then you've gone in and really honed in on such a niche clientele. And I know that from a passion perspective, that has to feed you all the time, because not only are you helping make people look good on the outside, but as you're helping to heal them through their journeys of their hair. I mean, hair is so important to us.
Yeah.
You know?
I still don't have none. I still don't got my beard VPR. And I was waiting on that. I've been thinking about it the whole. I'm sorry, Ms Chu. I've been saying that you guys been talking about hair
years.
I'm like, I still ain't getting my weave, man.
Who's got something to grow this man a nice luscious beard?
You know what I mean? I've been doing other ways to grow it, but it ain't calculating. All right, if it don't, I don't know what's going.
Not
all right,
product to grow and buy a beard. Please put it in the chat.
You know what I mean? If I gotta go to India and go get it myself, then point me in the right direction. Just show me the nearest
question. We have a question in the chat. Meta Copyright wants to know, how do you balance and manage your life with so many different things going on?
That is a great question. To be honest with you, for a long time, I didn't. And this leads me into another chapter, which is the dystonia chapter. This is why my camera is not on. So I'm always hesitant to share, but about a year ago, I was diagnosed with what's considered a focal dystonia. And what it is basically, it's uncontrollable spasms of my eyes. And that extends down into my whole face, down into my neck. And ultimately, there's no cure, so it's chronic. And it forced me to understand triggers. One, stress and anxiety, and organization, and what causes those triggers. And to answer the question, before that diagnosis, I did a very horrible job at managing all of it. It was literally like there were always balls in the air. But with this newfound health issue, I had to sit down and really get organized, start working smarter, not as hard, but smarter, you know, identifying who on the team can do what, identifying a team, because I'm a one woman show, and I always have been. Me and my husband, I would say, he's always in the background, but basically he makes all of the things that I do tick, and I have to give him his credit. Shout out to Andre. But this dystonia really made me sit down and work through how to work smarter. And I mention it because in addition to, you know, helping women that are suffering from hair loss, it's really a community. You know, we share. You know, you may be suffering from hair loss. I'm trying to like maintain my very busy life with a health issue, and ultimately we come together and we help each other. And that's really about, like, my whole brand is empowerment. I want you to look your best, I want you to feel your best, and I want you to perform at your best. And the only way to perform at your best is to understand your triggers and get organized and get the right people on your team. So to answer your question, initially I did a very horrible job at it, but in the last like 6 months, it's all coming together, and I'm coming out of this health issue a better Jamie.
Amen to that. I think it's so important, you know, like being a mother entrepreneur, I feel you in every aspect of that. And it can become to the point where you're doing a million things. Like you said, all the balls in the air, you're rarely sleeping, right? These things take a toll on your body. They trigger stress, they trigger anxiety, chronic pain, all of these things that can happen to your body, autoimmune disorders. That mental health space and that physical health space are so important, because whether it be you're a caretaker, you're caring for your children, your family, you're running a business, if you're not taking care of you, all of those balls are going to drop, right? So you got 50 balls in the air, and you're like, okay, I'm juggling. And then you fall down, all the balls are going to drop. We have to recenter, especially our people, right? Like there's so much on us, women and men, but taking that mental space, I always encourage, even if you just take 5 minutes a day to go and meditate, shut off your phone, shut off your computer, just tune out and tune into you, go outside, walk, connect with nature, right? These things will higher your vibration and help you to stay in sync. So I'm so glad to hear that you've delegated some off to your team. You've got an incredible team, by the way. Shout out to your entire PR team. They're really dope. And now you're able to live in the best version of yourself because you're not having to juggle everything.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so, it's just so relieving. Even like you mentioned meditation. When I tell you, this is personal, I can only meditate for about 1.5 minutes. Like literally, like I'll put on an app, it'll be a 10-minute session, and a minute in, my mind is racing. But now it's all settled. You know, whatever time I'm trying to sit still with myself, I'm able to do that. And it's so important because within those minutes, you're recharging and you're re-energizing and you're really giving yourself the time and the clarity to think clearly and to develop your next steps. So organization and sitting with yourself is key.
I agree. And I just want to say to that, because I have a lot of people that tell me, like, I can't meditate. I can't. I used to have the same issue. Just keep doing it. Just keep trying it. It might be 1 minute. The next time it might be 2 minutes. One day you're going to meditate and receive that higher ascension, and you'll never meditate the same again. So trust me, just keep working at it. If you need an app, if you need whatever, 5 minutes, that's all you need to just free your mind and to reset.
You see, VPR, normally I just put on my headphones and I start DJing, I you know what I mean? And then I'll get into my flow and I won't think about the thing. Then when I take off those headphones, then they come right back in. But honestly, we are all on a mission to just reach inner peace. And when I'm hearing your story, Jamie, and your team around you that's supporting you, getting work done, delegating, and shout out to your husband. It was amazing what you were saying. I thought it was funny. He's like, nah, you know, he makes sure he does everything and everything getting done. But we're running short on the last few minutes. I just want to let everybody know where they could find you and some upcoming projects that you have coming up.
Yeah, so you can find me at on Instagram at I am Ms Chu. My webpage is also IAMMSCHU. Lots coming up this year. Have interviews, radio interviews scheduled. I'm doing a book tour, and I'm also doing some higher end DJing events. So a lot going on. Just follow me, keep up with the brand. If there's interest in, you know, getting to know a little bit more about the story, if you need a coach, just shout me out. I am Ms Chu on Instagram, or you can send me a DM.
You heard it here first. VPR, another amazing episode Thursday. Jamie, Ms Chu, I thank you for coming on our platform. I know it's been a minute and we've been trying to get you on here, but I'm glad you came.
Your energy is beautiful, and we really do appreciate you and your team. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, and, you know, being that inspiration to others, and living your best life, you know, happy and unapologetic.
Thank you so much for having me. I truly appreciate the time.
Absolutely. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Have a good afternoon, everyone.
You too.
VPR, I love how we started our show, and I like how we ended our show. It starts hectic, but then it calms down and gets to where it needs to be, where it resonates with your spirit. At least it does for me. Thank you, Meta Copyright, for the great question.
Yeah.
You were very clutch with that question at that moment. So, guys, continue tuning in every Thursday. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. We do post content there daily. Instagram. If you guys want to be more in touch with our nightlife portion of it, come and follow DJ FMI. If you want to get some fashion and some business and a whole lot of other great content, please follow at Kiana the Goddess. And we'll see you next Thursday.
We will. We love you guys. Mwah. See you next week.
Later.